If you can dream it, we can plan it. Oh, where do you want to go? Just let me know. Magic moments, far off oceans. We're chasing sunsets, chasing hope. Pack your bags, we'll handle the rest. With dreams and destinations, we're chasing the best. Your imagination, our inspiration. We'll take you coast to coast, no hesitation. Like dreams and destinations. Oh, oh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreams and Destination, a travel podcast brought to you by the agents of A Dream and a Wish Travel Co. I'm your host, Travel Wiz Liz, joined as always by our fabulous co-host, Ashlyn, aka the Duchess of Disney.
Hey, all you crazy cats and kittens out there. How's it going? I feel so weird not being in my normal Mickey mini ear attire today. This is a first.
But you still got the ears, so you're like
still do
there in
have ears,
spirit.
yeah.
I like that. So, Ashlyn clearly has a favorite when it comes to Universal, which is what we're talking about today. If you guys can't guess which land is her favorite, then you're clearly aren't watching this on video.
Right.
You're just streaming.
To give you a tip, I am wearing a Cat in the Hat set of ears and the bow tie to match.
The bow tie is my favorite. That like pulls the whole thing together.
It's really quite absurd. It's
Yeah.
massive. And Liz has her Harry Potter and her How to Train Your Dragon shenanigans going on.
This was my daughter's stuffy I got last time I went to Epic Universe, so I figured why not? He can make an appearance, little Toothless and Hiccup. Ugh.
Everyone loves Toothless. Come on now.
I love Toothless. That might be one of my favorite animated series of all time. It's so cute.
It's darling.
Anyways, let's jump right in, shall we?
Let's do.
Let's do it. In today's episode, we are talking about Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. That's right, folks. We are not just a Disney podcast. We are a travel podcast. Today, we're going to be giving a little bit of overview about this theme park located just down the road from Walt Disney World and what makes it another unique destination in Orlando, Florida. From the wizarding world of Harry Potter to the whimsical Dr. Seuss Landing, and even a little bit about the newest theme park to be built in Orlando in over 25 years. Epic Universe. We're also going to be joined today by one of our fellow agents, Katie Ellis, who is a Florida local and she is a Universal expert. Girl loves Universal. So she's going to come on a little later and tell us all there is to know about Universal Studios. And I'm excited.
I'm so happy to have Katie and you here to chat with today because this is a very interesting topic for me this week. We all know that I'm a Disney girl through and through. I love those parks. I know them better than I know my own neighborhood. And that is that's the truth. I just have pixie dust in my veins. I am a Disney girl. Now, I've done Universal Studios. I've been a few times. I've enjoyed it, but it's been a while since I've been. So, since I am not the Universal expert of the group, I'm going to kick this off and ask the first question to you, Liz. Give our audience and myself a breakdown of the 4 parks within Universal Studios Resort Orlando.
So Universal Studios, very similar to Walt Disney World in that they started with one park and then they've just kind of built like this mega theme park place. But it's unique from Disney, but also very similar feeling, that theme park feeling where you're not just going to one park and you're done for the day. They have a lot of different options. So the original, the OG, the first one they ever built was Universal Studios Florida. They built this to look and feel like a real working movie set. So you would see set designs from old movies. You would see props from old movies. All of their rides were about a movie. You know, one of my earliest memories as a kid at a theme park is riding the Jaws ride, which is no longer at Universal Studios Florida, but it was a boat ride where Betty, Jaws, would chase you around and you had this captain that was trying to steer you to safety. And that's kind of the feel of this theme park. And it still holds true to that, where There's still the ET ride that takes you through ET into his home planet. They still have a Men in Black attraction. So Universal Studios Florida is very much meant to feel like you are on a movie set. You are walking into the movies. And then in the 90s, they built Islands of Adventure. This was more to up their thrill ride. So they built more roller coasters, they built more attractions, and this was a little where they really started to get into that land. So you have Marvel Landing, which is superheroes, which I know everyone listening who might not understand the whole Marvel thing. Marvel is Disney, but Marvel theme parks in Florida, some of the characters belong to Universal, and they have this standing agreement that Universal Studios in Florida gets Spider-Man, the Hulk, the X-Men, Doctor Doom, and I think there might be one more that I'm forgetting, but that is kind of the understanding that Disney can have some of the newer heroes, Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, things like that. But Islands of Adventure got to keep their Marvel Landing. Then into past Marvel Landing, you go and you have Toontown, and then you have Jurassic Park area, you have Harry Potter area. We'll talk all about that later. You have Seuss Landing, but they really had this idea of you're walking out of one land and into the next. So it became a little more immersive as worlds, as escapes, as fantasy lands than just Universal Studios Florida, which is meant to look like a movie set. After that, they open Volcano Bay, which is their water park, which I know, Ashlyn, you don't love water parks, but this is a very cool one. It's got a great lazy river, great wave pool, really great water slides. It's a newer built water park, so they really looked at what people are into nowadays and how they can make it a little cleaner, a little nicer, a little fancier than even some of the Disney ones, just because it's newer. And then to wrap up the quad of Universal Studios, we have the brand new, beautiful, wonderful, immersive Epic Universe. This one just opened last year. I have been fortunate enough to go a couple times now, and it is immersive is an understatement. You walk through these portals and you are in another land. So they really took that immersive mentality they had in Islands of Adventure, and they bumped it up a notch for Epic Universe, because when you walk through those portals into whichever world you're in, whether it's Nintendo World, Dark Universe, How to Train Your Dragon, or the Ministry of Magic, you walk in and you are transported somewhere out of this world, somewhere completely brand new. So we'll talk a little more about that one later, but they did a good job, and Disney's playing a little catch up thanks to that park. So us
Yeah.
Florida locals, we're very happy with this park because it's pushing the envelope too for the other parks too. Now
Yeah.
they have to step up their game a little.
Yeah, I think Universal too saw what Disney did with things like Pandora and
Mhm,
with Galaxy's Edge, because those are two incredibly immersive areas,
mhm,
and this is kind of their answer to that.
mhm.
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to build a whole theme park like that. You got a couple lands. We have a full park of that. So it's very, very
hmm
cool. So when would you suggest that a family chooses Universal over Disney World?
Two main things. And I'll break it down a little bit. One, thrill seekers for
Mhm,
sure. And then two, movie people. Like, yes, Universal Studios, the park is very movie centric. Like you said, it's built to look like backlots, but really every single one of the parks really dives into these different movie and television franchises. So those are the two main things. People who love giant thrill rides and really like action packed movies are definitely the Universal crowd, because Universal Studios is big on thrills and coasters. Um, Honestly, the majority of the attractions are going to be geared towards bigger kids and adults. Now, that's not to say that they don't have stuff for the littles. We'll talk about this in a bit. But they do. They have things like, the areas like Seuss Landing, which is clearly my favorite at Universal, which tells you all you need to know about me. Um, and there's definitely things for the littler tykes and the non-adrenaline junkies to experience. But by and large, most of the rides and attractions, really across all three of the theme parks, are going to be for teens, tweens, adults, and maybe you're very, adventurous elementary aged kiddos. Like you're the kids that are like metal, rock and roll, let's rage. Like if that's your kid, then this is for you.
Mhm.
um yeah, so largely Universal is just packed full of those thrills and those coasters. Lots of dark, very intense, very loud attractions. That's their gig. So if that sounds like your family, if you've got older kids, teenagers, or you're, maybe a group of adults looking for lots of coasters and thrills, then I may send you to Universal. I will also send you to Universal if you're a big movie buff, particularly if you like any of the Universal franchises. The concept, like we've said, of Universal as a whole is sort of paying homage to these incredible films. So just like Disney has their very popular franchises that people come specifically to see, like Star Wars, like Avatar or Pirates of the Caribbean, whatever, people go to Universal Studios to experience Universal franchises that they love. Harry Potter is the first thing that comes to mind. I mean, the amount of Potterheads that have just invaded Central Florida to go to Wizarding World is
Mhm.
crazy. So, if you're a Harry Potter person, you need to go experience Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal. If you are a big Jurassic Park fan, then maybe Universal is for you because it's all about the movies. They've got E.T. and they've got Men in Black and they've got How to Train Your Dragon and The Mummy. And sidebar, The Mummy, potentially the scariest ride I've ever been on
It's
in my
terrifying.
it's actually terrifying, and I'm not even ashamed to admit this is very, very true. The first time I went on it, I cried. I'm not kidding. I was like, I don't know, in my early 20s maybe. I cried. I was so terrified of this ride. Um, but yeah, that's the whole shtick of Universal though. It's big thrills,
Mhm.
it's jump scares, it's those blockbuster movie franchises. So if you are an adrenaline junkie or a Universal movie buff, then Universal is for you.
Yeah, and I also think if you have a budget that's slightly less than your typical Disney like week-long trip,
Mhm.
I do find myself sending people again, like you said, who are big into rides and they have a little bit older kids. A lot of times I might steer them towards Universal because you do get a little more bang for your buck out of Universal, and we'll talk about that in this episode too. They do a lot of really great incentives to get you to book a longer stay or to book at a higher hotel or to book a park hopper or things like that. They give incentive built into their packages to stay at those, those different resorts or purchase a water park ticket or whatever it is. Whereas Disney's just a little more you pay for this nicer resort because you want the nicer resort. There's
Mm.
not extra perks besides maybe a little extra park stay or something like that. But Universal has done a really good job of working these packages to make them very affordable for families, and they can still experience a lot of VIP things where if you're especially if you're used to the Disney price tag, when you see the Universal price tag sometimes on these club level rooms or these top tier resorts, you go, "Are you sure? Like, you sure you gave me the right price? You're not missing
No,
a zero in there or something?" No, that's really what it is. So, I think that's a big part of it too.
totally. Totally.
So, with that, we are going to take a little break and then bring on our special guest, Katie. So,
Special guest segment.
da-da-da-da.
Liz and I are so thrilled to be joined today by Katie Ellis, one of our fellow travel agents with a Dream and a Wish Travel Co. Katie is a Florida native, and like Liz, she is oh so very lucky to live super close to both Disney and Universal. So she gets to visit frequently, which means She stays up to date on all of the fun theme park stuff. And also, it means I am very jealous because I don't live in Florida close to Disney World. Um, we're so happy to have her here today to share her universal expertise. So, welcome, Katie. Please tell the audience a little bit about yourself and let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm Katie. Like Ashlyn said, I am native to Florida. I've lived here my whole life, pretty much in the same town. So I've always been about just shy of 2 hours away from Disney and Universal. Grew up doing Disney my whole life. Absolutely love it. Love travel in general. It's something I love to do with my family. And we love Universal because it's actually kind of how we split it. I am the Disney lover mostly, and my spouse Bruce, he is actually the Universal lover because he loves all the thrill rides and everything like that. So of course we have to be pass holders to both. So that's what we like to do. I'm a mom to a little boy who is 2 years old. And so we've been able to take him now to both Disney and Universal, and it's been so fun introducing him to everything that we love. So you can find me on Instagram at happiest traveler Katie, and I'm super excited to talk all things Universal today.
We're so
We're
excited to have you
That's what
here.
I was gonna say,
Well, say
but
it. You
yes,
can say it too.
we're excited to have you. Katie's just down the road from me, just down the
Yep.
interstate, but we're the same way where I'm close enough to both, so I should just have passes to both, right? That's
Yes.
logic.
Yes,
Yep.
that's how you should
It actually
definitely
saves
present it.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
Mhm.
exactly.
Present it like that's your husband, everything will be fine. Yes.
Everything will be
It's
great.
logical. So, let's dive right into Universal. Katie, I will start with you, girl. Let's just start with the basics. What makes Universal unique as compared to other theme parks that you'd find at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or maybe, Six Flags, etc.?
Yeah. For me, I think what makes Universal stand out compared to a lot of other theme parks is just how immersive and high energy the experience is overall. It feels a little more intense, a little more you're in the movie. So just really unique theming that goes on throughout the parks. You've got, you know, Universal puts you in your favorite films. So you've got areas like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which is one of my favorites, Jurassic Park. They're not just themed, they're fully immersive experience and environment. Every detail is very intentional, and you can see that as you walk through the parks. It feels less like a park and more like stepping straight onto a movie set, which is super fun. Um, they definitely deal more with your bigger thrill rides. So compared to places like Walt Disney World, which has some really fun rides, but they're not quite, you don't get quite the thrill out of them overall that you get from Universal. You've got your big coasters, cutting edge ride tech, things like launches, screens combined with motion and intense experiences. Really great for everybody in the family, but especially for teens, adults, and anyone really wanting that adrenaline rush. Right? And I think one of my favorite things is also like the water park Volcano Bay. It's not just a water park with some slides. It's beautifully themed, super relaxing. There's something for everybody in the family. And they've got the great wearable tech, so you're not waiting in line the traditional ways, which is really fun.
Liz, we covered the three theme parks and the water park earlier in the show, just very briefly. Now, go ahead and tell me a little bit about the hotels at Universal.
So Universal, just like Disney, has the three levels of hotel. They have their top tier is called Signature, their middle tier is called Prime, their lowest is called Value Inn and Suites. So we'll start at the value and we'll work our way up. The Value Inn and Suites, that's Dockside Inn and Suites, Surfside Inn and Suites, and Cabana Bay. All three of those are very, very pretty hotels. But think more quick service, food, smaller gift shop. There, it's a more of like a value resort you would think of at like Walt Disney World. The big difference is when we're talking the suites, they are massive. They are some of the biggest hotel rooms I have ever been in, I have ever stayed at. So their value suites would be the same price as like an All-Star Sports, but it's a 2-bedroom suite with a kitchen with 2 bathrooms. I mean, they are enormous and they're very nice. They're very pretty. Cabana Bay, that one has really great views because you can see like, you can just see, like, the water park, you can see, like, from certain spots in the hotel, but I've never actually
Mhm.
stayed at that one, so, but the suites they're huge, they're so stinking big, I couldn't even believe when I walked in for the first time that this was a value inn, as they call it, because they're that big. Um,
Mhm.
so then once you're up from that, you have their prime, and I kinda feel like they made this when they built their 2 new hotels near Epic Universe because Adventura to me was it seems very similar to, like, Cabana Bay. It was kinda built around the same time. It's just kinda that mid-tier hotel, very pretty on the inside, but nothing overly grand. However, their other 2 prime hotels, Stella Nova and Terra Luna, which are their brand new hotels they built right next to Epic Universe, are stunning. They are gorgeous. The rooms are beautiful. The theming, so you have Stella Nova is very space themed, very like you're in a spaceship out of this world, and it's like the flooring looks like a galaxy. It's stunningly beautiful. And then Terra Luna is more, I think it's more like think it's supposed to be like you're on Earth, like you're on a planet rather than in space, but they're so clean and so pretty. The pools are gorgeous. I was fortunate enough to stay at Stella Luna right around Christmas time, and they had like 25 trees in the lobby. Like I walked in and went, okay, okay, Universal, I see you because you know how much we love our Disney trees. So
Mhm.
um those are, to me, 2 of the biggest steals on all of Universal property because they are just stunningly gorgeous, and I mean, they're brand spanking new. They've been there a year and a half. Um, then you move up to the Signature, which Signature, think those luxury, beautiful. So they're brand new, gorgeous. I've only ever walked inside the lobby. I haven't actually stayed there because want to afford groceries. Is the Grand Helios at Epic Universe. So this one it's insane. It is so beautiful. They just built it. It has a separate entrance directly into Epic Universe. You just
Mhm.
walk out your door and you're in Epic Universe, which is really, really a really cool feature. And then they have their 4 original signature hotels. So you have the Hard Rock Cafe, Lowe's Portofino Bay, Lowe's Royal Pacific, and Lowe's Sapphire Falls. So with all of those are their original signature hotels. Those give you very simple access to their main campus. So they have their main campus and then they have Epic Universe. They're separated by it's about 10 minutes to get from one to the other. Um, but with Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, you can walk back and forth to both of them, very similar to Disneyland, California.
Mhm.
And those 4 hotels you can walk to the park from them. Hard Rock is going to be the closest to the hotel, then Royal Pacific, then Sapphire Falls, then Portofino. But they all have walking paths, and if you don't want to hoof it that far, they have boats that'll take you to. Where they step up their game with these signature resorts, unlike Disney, who says stay at our nice fancy hotels, and you just get to stay at a nice fancy hotel with the Hard Rock, Portofino Bay, and Royal Pacific, Universal is going to actually give everyone who stays there an express pass, which is their version of the Lightning Lane, but even
Mhm.
better. So you get an express pass for every day of your trip, not night. So if you're staying one night, you get 2 full days of express pass, which if you have never been to Universal, their express pass is very different from Disney's Lightning Lanes in that all you do is you walk to the ride you want to do, you walk to that express line, they scan your express pass, and then you just walk on. There's no time, there's no app, there's nothing where you have to like sync your day around these times. You just walk up to the ride you want to do, and you can just go scan it and get in line. That definitely makes for a much more flexible day, and it's just such a cool perk that those hotels offer for their guests, and the hotels themselves are beautiful. But yes, I got 3 more hotels to knock off, but Grand Helios, I might have to sell a kidney first.
Yeah.
Yes, folks, it is that Grand Helios is that expensive.
It's on my list too. It looks
Oh,
utterly stunning.
so beautiful.
It looks absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's talk a little bit about planning and itinerary. Katie, how many days realistically do you need to spend at Universal to feel like you have really seen and experienced enough? And what should those days entail?
Honestly, a lot of this really depends on what you're looking to get out of it, and what you're looking to do. But the best thing that I always tell like my clients is you really want ideally 3 to 4 days to experience Universal as a whole, without feeling rushed and being able to experience everything about it, especially if you're going for the first time. I think one of the things that a lot of people think of when they think of Universal, you go for the first time, you hear, you can walk between the two parks. You could do it all like in a day or two. While yes, you could, you are going to miss a lot.
Mhm.
So really the breakdown of that is this. You want a good 2 days for the two original parks. So for Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, you want 2 solid days, one per park, to be able to experience each and everything that those parks have to offer. This gives you time to ride your main headlining rides, explore both of the Wizarding World lands in those parks, and then not feel like you're sprinting around all day trying to rush it and get it all in. Then with Epic Universe, you want obviously at least one solid day to do Epic, but really and truly because it's such a new park and it can get crowded, and there is a lot to see and it is very immersive. Realistically, you can get 2 days and be able to see everything in Epic, versus rushing around for one day. So
Mhm.
really 1 to 2 days, just depending on what you're looking to do inside of Epic Universe. And then, of course, you've got your optional water park, Volcano Bay. So if you're a water park family or it's summer and you're in Florida, highly recommend taking that extra day to do it. Like I mentioned very briefly before, it is an amazingly themed water park. It's really nice for a slower day to be able to enjoy. Lots of fun rides to do there, and you get that wearable tech, so you're not just waiting in lines like you would at a normal water park.
Mhm.
So just like a little bit something fun and different. So really, if you follow that guideline, 2 days for the original park, 1 to 2 days for Epic Universe, and then your optional water park day, you're looking at those 3 to 4 full days to fully experience it. Now, another thing that I do like to tell clients, and I think a lot of us do as well, is doing a split stay. That's something that is, if you are planning on doing the 3 to 4 days at Universal, doing a split stay, you can really get a lot more in. So, by doing that, basically what a split stay looks like is you start at a signature hotel. So, you start just like what Liz was talking about. You start at either a Royal Pacific, Hard Rock, and you get those express passes for the original parks. So for those first couple days, you're staying at one of the premier hotels. You're getting those express passes. You're experiencing everything in those two original parks, Universal and Islands of Adventure. And then when you're done with that, what you do is you move on to one of the newer hotels that are on the Epic campus. So you're looking at your Stella Nova or Terra Luna, or if you're feeling really large, you can go for the Helios. One nice perk to the Helios, if you do have the money in your budget for it, it can be a great stay because you can walk straight out of your hotel and straight into Epic Universe for those who don't know. So it has direct access straight into and out of the park. But also Terra Luna and Stella Nova are gorgeous hotels. I got to tour Stella Nova, it was absolutely gorgeous,
Mhm.
and you are right across the street, so super easy access. So doing a split stay, you get a lot more involved, and you get to experience a couple more of your resorts, especially if this is going to kind of be a vacation where you're like, okay, we don't know when or if we'll be able to make it back, so you want to kind of try to experience everything at once.
Yeah, and another thing to mention too when we talk about itineraries, just to remind people, don't set yourself up to get psyched up to think that you're going to be able to accomplish every single thing because it's just not possible. So make sure that you sit down and you make a list of those attractions that are really important to you and to the people in your party and get those checked off first and then go down your secondary list of things that you want to do. But don't set yourself up to get too disappointed because you haven't done everything because you just can't do it. It's just not feasible. So we've talked about how Universal is just very well known for its roller coasters and its big thrills and rides that make me cry in sheer terror like a little baby. So, Liz, what are the Ashland Speed attractions? What are the attractions that are more geared towards kids and folks like myself who don't really do the big thrill rides?
So one of the cool things about Universal Studios, as we've said, is it's meant to feel like a movie set, which means the movies they pick, if it's a children's movie, the rides are going to be much more Ashland friendly. We'll call them Ashland friendly. So when you walk into Universal Studios, the first thing you see is Gru's house from the Minions, and or from Despicable Me. And so there's a whole ride, which when I went back to Universal, it made me sad because I distinctly remember the Hanna-Barbera ride from
Mm,
15, 20 years ago. And so when I rode Despicable Me, I was, feeling kind of nostalgic. Turns out exact same ride,
mhm.
just different whatever's on the screen. But they have a lot of like simulator type rides that are they're still a little intense. They're fun. Like they're still geared towards a little older kids, but they're very chill and very mellow. In the Minions, they spray you with a fart gun. So it's not that scary intensity. It's just like a 3D simulator. They have that over in the Simpsons area. I don't think we even talked about the Simpsons. There's a
We
whole
didn't, yeah.
area that's the Simpsons, and there's a Simpsons ride, which again I still see as Back to the Future, but it's the Simpsons ride now, and they have some kids like the whirling thing that's similar to like a Dumbo ride. They have games and things like that. So there's a lot of like those simulators, like those 3D and 4D simulators that are based on much more chill movies.
Mm,
You also have a lot of different like water rides. In Islands of Adventure, you have like a log ride. You have one of those big inner tubes where you just get soaked. So they have some low intensity water rides, which if you have younger kids, like my nieces and nephews, when we go, they love the water rides. They just want to get soaked. So it's so fun for them. They also have in all of the parks, I would say, including Epic Universe, they have one area that is very much meant for young kids. So in Universal Studios, they have the DreamWorks area where you'll find a lot of like Kung Fu Panda, you'll find Shrek, you'll find the Troller Coaster. They
yeah.
have playgrounds, splash pads, things for very younger kids. I'll give you one hint what Islands of Adventure, the kids area is, Ashlyn. You think you know?
Oh, I don't need a hint, girl. That is Dr. Seuss
Oh,
all the
yeah.
way.
Where they have, the Cat in the Hat ride, which is very similar to like Winnie the Pooh. They have a carousel.
Mhm.
They have character meet and greets where they read you stories. And then even at Epic Universe, while the Isle of Berk does have a couple thrilling rides, the overall ambiance of that portal is very kid friendly. They have a
Mm,
show, you can meet Toothless and pet his little head. They have one of the biggest theme park playgrounds I have ever seen at any theme park. It's very, very large. They have in Islands of Adventure, they have a whole dinosaur area where you can run around and go in and out of caves and go across rope bridges. So there's a lot of very low intensity, just fun areas for younger kids or even people that just don't want the intense roller coasters. And then you have the immersiveness of the different wizarding worlds. And those too, you could just walk around in some of those Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley. You could just walk around for hours and hours and not ride anything. They have interactive wands that you can do your little spells and things happen. So they have, and the same thing in Epic Universe, they have the wands over there, or they have in the Nintendo area, the power up bands where you can play the Nintendo games. So they really do have a lot of fun, immersive things to do. And then on top of that, they have times of year where they have concert series going on. They have special parades, character meet and greets. So there is really something for everyone. I just think they have found ways to really excite anyone who goes there. So if you are not a roller coaster person, so you send dad on the roller coaster with the craziest of the children, and then, you and 2-year-old go and play in the DreamWorks area. That is just something that even I think Disney doesn't have as many of those options for
Mhm.
families that are very diverse in what they want to do.
Okay, I'll toss the next question to Katie. Let's switch gears and talk about Universal's City Walk. This is like their version of Disney Springs at Walt Disney World or Downtown Disney in Disneyland. What is the vibe? What's the vibe of City Walk? What are some of the must-dos in that area?
So the vibe of City Walk is really going to change and depend on the time of day that you're there, and what you're looking to do. The vibe at all times is just super lively, which is super, it's very fun. A little more adult than the parks at night, but still very family friendly. So it's, I don't want to scare off families by saying, it's a nightlife pop in place, and you should stay away. You can go with your family day or night, and it doesn't matter because it all just depends on where you go and what you're looking to do.
Mhm.
So, um, first off, during the day, you've got Universal's Great Movie Escape, which is perfect for something with large groups, or if you're looking to just escape the heat for a little bit. These are movie based escape rooms, and they can be super fun, like I said, for groups, large families, or anyone just kind of looking to beat the heat for a little bit. Then you've got shifting gears a little bit, you've got nighttime at City Walk. Um, you've got Hard Rock, which has a lot of really great concert options during the year. Pat O'Brien's, great for dueling piano fans. And then you've got karaoke, live bands, and just a really fun nightlife scene. There are multiple restaurants and little dance bars and places you can go and really enjoy and have a good night. Um, for families or people looking to eat, because we love food too, you've got tons of great restaurant options. You've, of course, got all of your more quick service places that you can go and grab a quick bite if you're not feeling the food inside of the park. And then you've got the restaurants. So, some of our favorites, personally, we've got Toothsome Chocolate Emporium, which I feel like you have to go. If you're going to Universal, and it's your first time especially, you've got to go to Choosesome and get one of their over the top ridiculous milkshake desserts because they're just phenomenal. Super fun photo ops, very family friendly, and it's steampunk themed. Just a really, really fun environment. We pretty much go almost every time, whether it's for a dessert or just fiddling up to the bar and grabbing a drink and a quick entree. They've got great food too. So my husband's favorite is Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. because he's a huge Forrest Gump fan. So he's always like, "Hey, what's the wait time at Bubba Gump?" So we do love going there. That's a really fun restaurant based on Forrest Gump. Theming is great. Food is fantastic. And there's even some fun interactive moments throughout. Some of the waiters get really into it, which is fun. And then, of course, we love Mexican. So, Antonitos, not sure if I'm pronouncing it fully
So
correct,
good though.
but we love it. It's so good. The food is great. You can't beat the tableside walk. It's a fun, vibrant spot, whether you're there day or night. So, definitely some of our favorites. And then, of course, for our shopping friends, if you can't leave a theme park without hitting up some merch, bringing some gifts home for people. You've got tons of merch stores. Like I said, you've got your quicker service places mixed in there along with sweet treats like Voodoo Donut. Plenty of spots to grab souvenirs, quick dessert to go, or whatever it is you're looking for. So love City Walk.
Okay, I know people are waiting with bated breath. They've been waiting this entire time to hear about this because it's all the rage right now. Epic Universe. This is Universal's newest theme park, Epic Universe. It just opened last year. I don't think it's even a year old yet.
May 22nd.
There you
Mhm.
go. It is getting insanely great reviews. People are losing their minds over it. So, Liz, can you tell us exactly why Epic Universe is so groundbreaking?
Well, it's epic. First of all, it is the first theme park, full theme park build in over 25 years. That in itself is
Crazy.
astounding
Yeah.
because Orlando is the theme park capital of America, and the fact that a new park hasn't been built in a quarter century is crazy. So the last time a theme park, so we're not talking water parks, we're not talking add-on lands, we're talking a full-blown theme park, was in 2001. So it has been a very long time coming to have this new park, and Universal itself hasn't opened a new park in Florida since Islands of Adventure, which I think was 96 or 97. So they're a long time coming for another park. And I think it was getting to the point in Universal's world where they had to do something more. They
Mm.
had, they had done a lot. They had built these really innovative coasters, these immersive Harry Potter worlds in their original parks, but it wasn't enough. People wanted more. And meanwhile, Disney was pushing these very immersive experiences like Galaxy's Edge, like Pandora. So Universal kind of said, okay, those are getting rave reviews. Galaxy's Edge, Pandora, everyone just talks about how incredible it is to basically walk through this barrier and you are transported to a new land. So
Mhm.
what Universal did is they said, we're going to build a park that is 100% that mentality. So when you enter the park, you enter into this area that's called Celestial Park, and it's the hub of your universe, your extraterrestrial experience, if you will. So you walk in, and they have these great big statues that are homages to like constellations and Greek goddesses and things like that. They have the carousel, which is unlike any carousel you'll ever ride, and I highly recommend riding it at night because the light show that goes with it is wild. It's so cool. They have probably my favorite coaster of all time, and I'm a coaster girl. The Stardust Racers, which is a launch coaster, but it's a dueling launch coaster. But what they did from there is they built these portals that are meant to feel like you are being transported from this spacey celestial place into these other worlds. So as you walk through these big portals, and when I say portal, I mean it's a giant circle with lights and music and everything, and you walk through and it's like, boom, you hit a new world. So when I went the first time, the very first portal I visited was the Nintendo portal, which if you grew up in the 80s and 90s playing Super Mario, the experience going in there was, I mean, it was like euphoric because you go up this green tube on this escalator that's like the dur 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 dur
Yeah.
dur 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 dur. It's that tube. You ride it up and you walk out and you are in Princess Peach's castle, and you keep walking and it's like, I mean, I was speechless. I should have been like rushing to get on the ride because I was doing early entry rope drop, but I couldn't. I was so just flabbergasted by how perfect this world looked. Everything was perfect. And when you looked around, all you could see was the Super Nintendo. You can't see the outside world of your portal. All
Yeah.
you can see is what's happening in the portal. And each portal is like that. So the next portal over is Dark Universe, which is kind of their tribute to their Halloween Horror Nights. Is that
Horror
what?
Nights,
Yeah,
yeah.
Horror Nights. But it's a lot milder version of Halloween Horror Nights. But when you walk through that portal, you're in a graveyard. You see Frankenstein's manor. You see Igor walking around, and there's lightning and smoke, and they have a tavern which has the best food that's like got a burning windmill like you would see in those old scary movies. But again, you walk back there and that's all you can see. You could do a full 180, and even when you're on the rides, you don't see out into the other portal. So then from there, I ventured to the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, which I talked about a little bit. It's just whimsical. There's dragons, these little animatronic dragons everywhere. I mean, real dragons, not animatronic. They are real.
They're all real.
There's dragons everywhere. You can meet Toothless. You can ride Hiccup's wing gliders, which is the most fun roller coaster. It's very like Seven Dwarves, where it's themed and like there you hear the characters talking. They have a stage show that is it's incredible. It's Broadway caliber stage show that they do every hour. And then the last one you go to that I went to was the Wizarding World, which this one I will say, if you are thinking Harry Potter, you will walk in and go, huh? Because it's more themed about the Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. So you walk in and you are in Paris in the 1920s. And it feels like Paris. You walk under a miniature version of the Arc de Triomphe, and you walk onto the streets of Paris. But then their ride, you are transported into the future, into the Ministry of Magic, and you are at the trial of Dolores Umbridge. And when I say the Ministry of Magic might be one of the coolest things I have ever walked into in my life, like, it is huge. They must have spent $1 million just on the tile for that place because it felt like I walked into the movie. And if you've ever seen The Order of the Phoenix, they show the Ministry of Magic where it's this black tile with a giant fountain and these giant windows with the offices, and that is what this ride queue is. It is the Ministry of Magic. And that immersiveness throughout the entire park with all of the worlds is so very unique and so different than any other theme park. This park, every single world, every land you step into, and even the restaurants are just so immersive and themed to the world you are in. So to me, being a theme park junkie like I am, that is so new and innovative to see. I've been twice already, and I mean, I can't wait to go back again. It was that cool.
I need to go. I need to get my husband there because he is the
Mhm.
biggest Mario fan on the
So
literal face of the planet. He's gonna lose his mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The problem is that we're gonna go and he's never gonna wanna go anywhere else. That will be our vacation spot from now on.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the other thing that people have been waiting to hear about. And, I already I don't wanna hear any hate from any of the Potterheads in the comments. I'm telling you that right now. Katie girl, you're really gonna have to explain this one to me. I know you are a Potterhead. I know my girl Liz is a Potterhead. I Listen, I have tried. I have tried and tried. I just cannot wrap my head around Harry Potter. There's gotta be something I am missing because you guys, you and like everyone else in the world loses their mind over it.
Mhm.
I read the first 3 chapters of the first book when I was like 10 years old and I said, "This is not for me." I sat that down and I never looked back, okay?
I feel like that was your mistake. I try it in adult life and
Mhm.
just I feel like you need to just pick it up again. I actually did not do it when I was younger. I did not start my Potter journey. I started with the movies in middle school, and then I think it hit movie 5, and I couldn't stand it. I had to know what happened, and I just like raced through all 7 books in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so yeah, I want to say I was probably like 19 or 20 when I actually like flew through the books and absolutely loved them. And I think I probably would have been the same though as you. I think I would have picked it up when I was like 10 or 11 and been like, because it just wasn't my vibe at that
Yeah.
age. It's very much my vibe now. So try it as an adult because you might surprise yourself.
I will. I doubt I will give it a go, especially before the next time I go to Universal because it's just people lose their minds over it. I've seen a couple of the movies. I know that I apparently am a Ravenclaw because I've been peer pressured into taking several Harry Potter
I love it.
personality quizzes.
I could have
I
told
love
you you
it.
were a
Yeah.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah, it fits. I can definitely see
Mhm.
that.
I love it. I'll take it. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I'll take it.
It's
Um
a compliment. It's fine.
I'm basically clueless other than that about Harry Potter things. So, for all of the Potterheads out there, Universal has 3 different wizarding worlds. Katie, what are the differences between the 3?
So for Harry Potter fans, and anyone who's looking to really immerse themselves in this experience with Universal, like you said, you've got the 3 three lands, three completely different experiences, three very different spots and areas of the Harry Potter world. So, first and foremost, you have Hogsmeade. That's over at Islands of Adventure. This is the classic snowy village you see in the films, very Hogwarts centric. You've got the castle with the iconic Harry Potter and Forbidden Journey ride, which I personally love. You've got the Flight of the Hippogriff, which is great for the younger kids that are with you. It's just a super small, simple, fun roller coaster that they can enjoy. Actually, you would probably enjoy that one if you haven't ridden it because it's not, it's not super like thrill ridey or anything. Um, and then you get to walk through the streets of Hogsmeade. You get to go into like the different shops. You can buy a lot of the signature candy and food that you see in the films. Very cozy, magical, especially at night. This is where you're really going to get that Hogwarts Phoebe vibe, in my opinion. Um, then you've got Diagon Alley. This is still my personal favorite, I think just because of how you enter and just how everything feels when you walk into Diagon Alley. So Diagon Alley is at Universal Studios. This is the more bustling, detailed area. You walk through the brick wall from London, which I think is awesome. They even have the fun little sound effects that make it sound like you're walking directly through the wall. And suddenly you walk through and you are in that wizarding marketplace. It's home to Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, which is also a super fun ride. You've got shops like Ollivander's, Weasley's, Wizard Uses. You've got some ice cream shops in there. Um, it feels bigger, more immersive, and just very story driven. That's Diagon Alley is just I don't, it's a story in and of itself, personally. So this is where you're really going to feel like you have entered the Wizarding world. So, like personally, for me, when we're talking just your two original parks, I always love to start at Universal Studios and go into Diagon Alley, then ride the Hogwarts Express, which is whole experience in and of itself. Ride that over to Hogsmeade, exit out, you exit right into Hogsmeade, and then you get to explore that area. And then if you're wanting just a little something extra, what's really nice is to hop the Hogwarts Express back over to Universal Studios because for those who don't know, the train ride is different both ways. So like you're not going to get the same experience riding to Hogsmeade or from Hogsmeade. They're two different experiences, which is even more fun because it just makes it um, all the more immersive, all the more story driven. You get a different story both ways. So I absolutely love that. And then, of course, you have, which Liz touched on this, the Ministry of Magic over at Universal Epic Universe. So this one, like Liz said, very inspired by the Paris Wizarding World from Fantastic Beasts, which I loved the Fantastic Beasts movies, so I cannot wait to make it to Epic Universe. I haven't been. I've only done like trainings and seen things, but I'm super excited to experience it. But you're going to get that more elegant European vibe. And then you are transported straight into the Ministry of Magic, which is, I cannot wait to experience that. It sounds like the best experience ever. That's the first thing I'm going to do when I finally make it to Epic Universe, honestly. But it's very immersive and story heavy with cutting edge technology, a little bit darker because we all know that, by the time you hit the Ministry of Magic in like the books and movies, you've got that darker Harry Potter feel going on. Very cinematic. Honestly, the Harry Potter lands are why I started going to Universal. And then of course, like I said, my spouse is a big thrill ride lover and all of that. So we've kept going. But like I always joke, like, you go do your thing, literally just leave me in Diagon Alley with the butterbeer and you can come pick me back up in a few hours and I'm good. Like I could seriously just sit there at a bench all day, drinking a butterbeer, wandering the shops, and I'd be in heaven.
Harry Potter lovers of the world unite.
And they're
Yeah.
all in the parks. Everybody back there is like a diehard Potterhead. You can
Yeah.
tell. They show up in 95-degree weather, full
The
robes,
robe.
scarves,
Yeah.
Scarves.
everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They are Potterheads through and through.
I love it. All right. Well,
Mhm.
before we wrap up our guest segment, I need to know from each of you really quick. We'll start with Liz. Do you have a couple of must do's at Universal Studios for first time visitors?
So I put 3 down that are my must-dos. So for me, depending on which park or if you go to all the parks, you have to ride one of the coaster rides or all of them. Um, the Velocicoaster, so stinking fun. Absolutely a blast, that roller coaster. Stardust Racers, my favorite roller coaster I've ever been on. And even in Universal Studios Florida, I would say the Escape from Gringotts is probably the coolest thrill ride in that one. So I'm a thrill junkie. Those are my in each park, those are my top thrill rides. But depending which park or all the parks you go to, I think if you are an adrenaline person, you have to do one of the thrill rides. Um, for me, one of my favorite features about Universal is the freestyle machines they have throughout the park. So at
Love
Disney
that.
resorts, you can get your mug and you can refill it at the resorts. Universal has that within the park. So you can get a refillable freestyle that they can activate. I think it's like $13. And they have freestyle machines literally all over the park. Like every 10 steps, there's another freestyle. Um, Coca-Cola freestyle. So you have all those soda flavors. If you're a little
Yeah.
soda lover, shout out Haley McDonald. Um, or if you just like for me, I love getting like a Powerade or something like that
Yep.
instead of just Florida water. And then Katie will say the same thing too. You have to get a butterbeer. You just
It's on
have
my
to get
list.
butterbeer. It is
Yeah.
it's so good. It's just so good. Like it's like a butterscotchy cream soda and you have to try it even if you're like, I don't like butterscotch." You gotta try it at least once just to say you've
Yeah.
had it because it's butterbeer. It's quintessential Harry Potter, so those are my 3 must-dos.
What about you, Miss Katie?
Um, honestly, I just want to piggyback on Liz with the freestyle. That's one of my things. We always bring our cup with us. The deal is just phenomenal for being able to drink unlimited basically in the parks. But on top of that, I think with Universal being so movie driven, really immersing you in those different, movies, sets, and things like that. If you're a first time visitor, don't sleep on the small things. So, like with Harry Potter, like what Liz said, getting a butterbeer, but just more than that, like going in and walking in, looking through the shops and buying those iconic candies that are from the movies and the books that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else. They've got butterbeer ice cream if the drink isn't up your alley. So definitely not sleeping on just those like little things that will really immerse you in that
Mhm.
that full experience that you're not going to be able to just get anywhere. And then your big main headlining rides, and I definitely mean that in the sense of you've got like Hagrid's Magical Motorbike Adventure, and with that one, when we talk about like cutting edge technology with rides, that one's huge. That is such a different kind of coaster. You can't even really explain it to people. And so I feel like if you're looking to experience something a little bit different and a little more fun, that should be one of your first stops is trying to get on that ride because you're going to experience a roller coaster unlike anything you've really ever experienced before. That is probably in our top three favorite rides at the parks, really tied with Velocicoaster, because we absolutely love that one as well.
I'm sorry. Butter beer ice cream? I lost everything you said after that. What?
I saw your face and I was like, "Have you not had the butterbeer ice cream?"
Well, because the ice cream line's always so long in Diagon Alley, I just don't bother.
It I know,
And
and
now I'm gonna bother.
we got really lucky when we went during the week one time, like, I think we were there on, like, a Wednesday or Thursday, and so we were getting on everything that it was a dead time of year, and there was, like, no line for anything. I mean, I walked right up and I was the second person for an actual butterbeer, and this was, like, 11 a.m. or something, it's normally that line is so long no matter what part you
Yeah.
go to, but yeah, just the butterbeer ice cream.
Amazing.
Was thinking about renewing my pass or not. Now I might have to because I need that
Oh,
butterbeer
there's
ice
you're
cream,
you're
so
great. You probably need to talk to the ice
well, Katie, thank you for teaching me something that I've never known. I'm so excited. We loved having you, and now I get to have butterbeer ice cream thanks to you.
I know. It's been great to have you. That's all the time we have for our special guest segment today. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you again on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks guys so much. I appreciate it.
That was so fun having her on. But hey, guess what?
What?
It's time for Magical Mailbag.
Magical mailbag.
Ooh, that was good. That
La.
was so good. Those
Mm.
harmonies. It is time for Magical Mailbag, that special segment where we answer questions you've sent to us via Instagram. This is from Mallory R. in Pennsylvania. My husband and I want to take an anniversary trip. We both went to Disney with our families as kids, but haven't been yet as adults. Is Disney World a good option for an anniversary vacation?
Mallory girl, come on now. Yes, here's the deal. I have spent an absurd amount of time at Disney World as an adult, as has Liz, as have literally all of the travel agents in our agency. I've been on many an adult only trip to Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, romantic getaways to Disney with my husband. I spent my 21st birthday there. I got engaged there. So in short, yes, Disney World is a great option for an anniversary trip. There's this assumption that Disney is just only for kids. You know, the whole anti-Disney adult thing is floating out there in the ether sphere. It's just simply not the case. There's so much to do without kids. You've got swanky restaurants, amazing bars and lounges, and many of those are 21 and up once you get to a certain point of the night. And then you've got the new bar in Epcot, Geo 82, which is adults only 24/7. Their kids aren't even allowed in there. So you've got lots of adult experiences, spas, shows, shopping. There's just a lot to do inside and outside of the parks, things that are adult centric. And it can be a very romantic place. I know we're talking about theme parks, and most people just equate Disney to screaming kids in line, and that happens. But that's not the only thing that's going on in Disney World. And you've got these really romantic resorts, Boardwalk Inn, where Liz loves to stay. That's her favorite. Beach and Yacht Club, Polynesian, Grand Floridian, Port Orleans, Riverside. These are all very sort of romantic resorts, really gorgeous resorts. And they totally lend themselves to a romantic getaway. So there's a lot of gorgeous date night spots with just incredible views and award-winning food. I could go on and on. We need to do a whole series about just things for adults to do in Disney World because there is a laundry list. So, again, yes, go to Disney for your anniversary. And Mallory, if you need help planning or you need some recs, slide into my DMs. I got your back.
And as we just heard from Katie, if you need a little more swanky nightlife, Universal Studios City Walk just down the road. It's a quick little Uber, and you can go sing some karaoke and hit up a dueling piano bar. So
Totally.
there's just lots to do.
There's lots to do.
Remember, if you guys have any questions or topics you want us to cover on the show, DM them to us on Instagram for a chance to have them featured on future episodes. That's all the time we have today. But be sure to follow us and subscribe to Dreams and Destinations on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes drop every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come back and see us next week for more.
Give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Dreams and Destinations. And don't forget to follow A Dream and a Wish Travel Co. on social media. You can visit our agency website or our podcast Instagram or my Instagram or Liz's Instagram to request a vacation quote. Of course, all of the links are in the show notes. Thank you for being here. And don't forget to tune in next week. We've got another very special guest with us. And we are taking an in-depth look at Disney Cruise Line. Have a magical,
All right.
All right. Have a magical day, everybody. We'll see you later.
See you next week.
The journey goes on. Travel tips whispered, see